August 23rd, 2016. Remember that day. It's the day Colin Kaepernick set the country on fire. We've all been to sporting events. What happens? The announcer asks us to stand for the national anthem. We stand and sing the song, and then play the game. Well, on that day, Kaepernick was seen sitting as a form of protest. It confused a lot of people, but Cap had this to say after the game.
Realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust, people aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. This country stands for freedom, liberty, justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now.
Will you continue, Colin, to sit? Will you continue to sit?
Yes, I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. When there's significant change and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand.
And so it begins. Even though he didn't talk about the military at all, a lot of the nation took it as disrespect to them. So Cap took that to heart. The next game he went from sitting to kneeling in an attempt to show more respect to former and current U.S. military members, while still protesting during the anthem after having a conversation with former NFL player and U.S. military veteran Nate Boyer. But this olive branch was totally misunderstood. The media went crazy by dividing the entire nation into supporters or opponents of Cap's protest.
Taking a knee to the national anthem? I'm a white kid from Montana, so I've never faced discrimination, any kind of racial stuff. But as a veteran, it's insulting.
What's going on there right now?
Zubin, the United We Stand rally is currently taking place in support of veteran Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick right now, they have been talking about boycott. I stand with Kat.
Kid Rock blasted Colin Kaepernick in concert, and Kiss has added the Star Spangled Banner to its set list. Chris, do bands risk alienating fans by taking a side?
As you can see, Kaepernick became the most polarizing person in America, and in some eyes, the most hated. What seemed to be overnight, Cap became the new symbol for civil rights to some people, but others weren't down with that at all. All of a sudden, the whole country was divided. But who is Colin Kaepernick really? Does he deserve to be treated like this? To know that, we gotta rewind the tape. Colin was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin to a white mother and a black father. Unfortunately, they gave Colin up for adoption, but lucky for him, Rick and Teresa Kaepernick were there to take him in. They already had 2 children, Kyle and Devin, but wanted to adopt Colin after losing 2 other sons to heart defects. His parents are good people. They turned a probable rough life into a bright future for a little kid. That's gotta make you feel good. Before you know it, Cap was a 4.0 student and all-state in 3 different sports. The dude was more highly recruited as a baseball player, but his heart was in football. Actually, he hardly had any attention as a football player at all. But Nevada offered him a scholarship after one of their assistants saw Cap dominate in a basketball game while having 102 fever. And they ended up being the only school to offer Cap a scholarship. He was pretty good his freshman year, finishing the season with 25 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. But in 2018, the light bulb turned on and Cap turned into one of the best players in college. Now check this out. This is one of the most important details to this story. Jim Harbaugh is known as being the quarterback whisperer. I know they say that about a lot of guys, but in this case, it's legit. The 49ers already had a good quarterback in Alex Smith, but Harbaugh liked Kaepernick enough to trade up in the 2nd round to draft him. Sounds pretty harmless, right? Well, the 49ers ended up going 13-3 in his rookie season, but lost in the NFC Championship game to the Giants. This led to some fans thinking that Alex Smith wasn't good enough to get their team to the top of the mountain. And in the next season, Cap became the new darling in the 49ers fan base. Week 11 was a Monday Night Football matchup against the highly ranked Bears defense. Alex Smith had to sit out with a concussion, and Kaepernick got his shot with the whole country watching. He dominated the Bears in a 32-7 victory, and Smith never got his job back. Cap got his team all the way to the Super Bowl that year, and this is what happened.
The Stadium Ray Lewis reacting to the emotional America the Beautiful with the Sandy Hook Elementary kick after the Beyonce concert, and it's Jacoby Jones 8 yards deep in the end zone, bursting free, and he is gone.
He's thinking about his dance right. He's like, y'all, stay back. Sugar.
That's what Sugar had just rubbed the head on him.
Each in the 49ers have 2 plays into it.
Turn out
the lights go out.
Somebody put a plug.
And light again.
35-minute power outage delay.
What happens when Beyonce leaves the field?
Yeah, she took all the energy with her out of the building. And John, I mean, everyone, the wave starts going, and everybody's trying to remain calm and trying to stay focused.
And the crowd handled it well, Rich.
Well, yeah, nobody
they handled it well.
Absolutely well.
What else they gonna do?
28-6 is your score after the power outage. By a quarterback in Super Bowl history, previously held by Joe Montana. Touchdown! Colin Kaepernick is a 2-point game. Kaepernick flinging it to Crabtree. Some contact to say the least. Their long week is over, and Ray Lewis's long ride to another Lombardi Trophy ends.
Kaepernick just fell short of becoming a legend in NFL history and would never get another opportunity. He would go on to be very successful in the league, even signing a $126 million contract. But after the 2014 season, Jim Harbaugh went to coach the Michigan Wolverines, and Cap was never the same. The 49ers went from the top to the bottom, and Colin was eventually replaced by Blaine Gabbert. Now we're back to the national anthem controversy. While all of this was going on, Kaepernick actually got his job back and played well, even though his team was awful. He had 2,241 yards and 16 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. He did this in only starting 11 games. That's not a bad season when you average it out, but the pressure from the public, and not the public, was enough to never give Cap another shot. He was a free agent after that season and would never step onto the field again. This led to a high-profile collusion lawsuit, which pretty much nailed the coffin. He's tried to get back in the league, but the future of the NFL seems to not include Colin Kaepernick. Some people still don't know this, but Kaepernick's 10 for 10 charity has raised over $1 million to serve oppressed communities across the nation. I look at him like a guy who stood up for a cause he believed in and took action to make real change. If that's not a good person, then neither am I. Since being out of the league, he's been awarded GQ Citizen of the Year Award and also the 2018 Ambassador of Conscience Award, which celebrates individuals and groups who speak out for justice. I hope to see Colin back in the NFL one day, but if he never gets there, his career wasn't in vain. His protest still lives on today, and what he did on August 23rd is already impacting the future.
CBS, Fox, NBC, ESPN, and NFL all have one thing in common. Their ratings have suffered this year. They have a season decline now of 8%.
And of course, the big question is, are the anthem protests that the players have had on television and at the various games, are they responsible for the decline in viewership? A lot of people are steamed that the players aren't standing for the anthem.
Who loses the money here? The owners and the commissioner when the ratings are down?
Everybody.
And